It's the Westside Fantasy Premier League results recapping show. I'm Jim, and we're going to recap week 12 in Westside Fan. Why am I talking like this? I have no idea. All right. Al Gore broke his hip. Oh, Frank Gore, sorry. Okay, we're coming down to the end, folks. We got playoffs to talk about. Playoffs? We're going to talk about playoffs. But first, we're going to talk about games. How about them Laser Spaniels? Won a game. What the... Can you believe it? That's the first win in about, I think, 600 years for the Laser Spaniels. Playing the Jolly Rogers, basically burying all hope of the Jolly Rogers going to the playoffs. So, sorry about that. All I've got left, as with half the league or so, is playing spoilers. So, sorry. Tom Brady had a Brady-esque night, actually like a double Brady kind of night. 58, like the Brady bunch. 58 points for him. 21 from Arian Foster. More on that later. And then everybody else kind of... nobody really sort of sucked it out or anything like that. So it ended up being 128 points, which normally, given the average 137 points that I've been facing this year, would be a loss. But finally, someone didn't bring their A game, and that someone was Mike Vick, who only got 47 points. Also, Chris Johnson, the Arian Foster of last year, got 0.7 points, so that wasn't so good. And but don't worry, because Jacob Tammy made up for it with 12 points. Great. Garrett Hartley, the kicker, got 15, so that's always a bad sign. 114 points for Jolly Rogers. They dropped to 4-8. They are out. There's no chance. Laser Spaniels out, but you knew that already. Laser Spaniels have been out for a long time. So that's a pretty irrelevant game at this point. Then there was Jamarcus's Bentley and Smack Attack 1. Now, going into this game, Jamarcus's Bentley was potentially, it could have gone wrong had he lost, but he did not against Smack Attack 1. Guy put up a good fight. Smack Attack 1 came into game 5 and 6 and really kind of clinging to some playoff hopes, which are at this point, I would say, out of reach, unfortunately. He only got 20 from Mark Sanchez, but he did get 35 from Dwayne Bowe. That guy's good, I'm told. And 17 from Michael Turner, 0.00 from Rob Baronas, 11 from Tampa Bay. It all adds up to 107, which is not great. And Jamarcus's Bentley, also not great. He got 25 from Matty Ice, who in reality had an amazing football game, but in Fantasy Island, it was pretty mediocre. Calvin Johnson, 15 in a whipping at the hands of the Patriots. Darren, 17 from Mike Tolbert. There's that guy again. I guess he's really there. All adds up to 115. Jamarcus's Bentley rises to 9-3, and we'll talk about where he stands in the playoffs, where Phil, that is, stands in the playoffs shortly. All right, now also relevant to that discussion is Ghetto Superstar and DeBiz. Now, this was kind of a statement game, I think, for Ghetto Superstar, because he was coming into the game 6-5 and really clinging to some playoff hopes, and really just put on a clinic. Kyle Orton, this week, he was snorting some Orton. 52 points worth of Orton in a big loss to the Rams. Man, you had a good game, Orton. You lost to the Rams. Andre Johnson got 11 points and also won in a split decision against Cortland Finnegan, the weirdest looking dude I've ever seen. Miles Austin, 14. 21 from Jamal Charles, with Kansas City looking suddenly very good. Matt Forte, 13. And LeGarrette, let me be blunt, not being able to repeat his earlier season points, but he still got 5, so that's okay. 157 points. I believe that's the high this week. I'm pretty sure it is. Over on the other side, DeBiz was coming into the game pretty much eliminated, so his only role here was spoiler. 26 from Roethlisberger, 13 from Ray Rice, 15 from Noshawn Moreno, 4 from the Philly defense. All adds up to 98. Not good enough. 4-8. Ghetto Superstar, 7-5. We're going to talk playoffs here in a minute. All right. I keep saying that. Ferocious Finnick. Also right on the bubble as far as playoffs go. Ferocious Finnick is now 6-6, not eliminated. Smell This, on the other hand, eliminated. However, Drew did want to give Jake one more chance to smell it. This is a rivalry, and this was a close one. It all came down to Steve Breston needing to get 30 more yards. And really, nothing's ever come down to Steve Breston needing to do anything ever before. So this was a new experience for him, even though he didn't know it. Jake got 34 from Eli, 21 from Wes Welker. Yes. If only Javed Best had gotten any points, Jake might have won this, but he didn't. 10 points from Jeremy Macklin, 7 from the Green Bay defense. It's 97 points. Not that great. On the other hand, smell this, 32 from Peyton Manning, losing 8 big points with those 4 picks. 19 from Brandon Lloyd on the Denver receiving core. The 2 running backs, Javaris James and Tim Hightower, got him a total of 0.2 points, so that ain't good. 13 from Todd Heap. I was trying to think of a funny middle name for Todd Heap. Can't think of one. Shit, I don't know. That's kind of nasty, but there you have it. And 11 from 100.2. Dung. I should have said Todd Dung Heap. That'd be pretty funny. 100.2. That beats 97.1. Smell this is out, but they're spoiling, and that's the smell, I think, is the spoiling. And Ferocious Finnick is 6-6, and can win next week and go in with some help, I believe, and we'll get back to that in a second. You Betcha against Bretta is. Now, You Betcha comes into this 6-5, so in a good position to control his own destiny by winning. Bretta is came into this 7-4, so in a real good sort of commanding position. The way this game went was that the Drew Brees got 38 for You Betcha. 6 from Steve Johnson, who's wasn't quite as hot as usual, but 37 from Peyton Hillis. 0 from Des Bryant, surprisingly, especially considering how the Cowboys had the huge furious comeback and all this stuff. 112 points, which is not a great score, but it beats 95, which is what Bretta is got. 29 from Matt Schaub, 12 from Maurice Jones-Drew, 14 from Derek Mason, and 10 from the Cleveland defense, and the rest was sort of bottle caps and broken skateboards and stuff like that. It adds up to 95. Drops Bretta is to 7-5. You Betcha goes up to 7-5. And one more game to cover before we talk about playoffs, and that's the I against Ruff the Passer. Now, this was a game with fairly significant ramifications. These are the 2 top teams in División del Norte. Aaron Rodgers got 49 in really quite an amazing game, as we talked about before. It was him against Matty Ice dueling to the wire, and he lost. But he still got 49 points, so that's the good news. Johnny Knox got 12 points. 10 for Ahmad Bradshaw. LaShawn McCoy of Philadelphia got 12. Tony Gonzalez got 11. 17 for the law firm of Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis. 130 points, so a real nice score for the I. Ruff the Passer has dropped a couple games in a row. Step 3, because he step 3 in his plan is suffer extended emotional letdown after securing playoff spot. Began nervous pacing. So he is pacing nervously around the room, is Rob, because he only got 19 points from Phillip Rivers, who was not very Phillip Rivers-like, and Mike Wallace, who normally gets him a lot of points, got 3. Vincent Jackson, wow. Let me tell you, I held on to this turkey for about 6 weeks at the beginning of the year, thinking surely a guy's not going to hold out the entire year. But he didn't. He came into the game and did nothing. He got 0. Adrian Peterson, now this week, even having Arian Foster wouldn't have been enough to save Ruff the Passer, but it did cost him about 10 points or 8 points. So only 13 from Adrian Peterson as compared to Arian Foster, who I think we already covered. 19 for Richard Mendenhall, who's been actually tremendous this year. I think a lot better than most people thought. Crabtree got 10. 15 from David Akers. Kickers scoring some points this week. 106. Not a terrific score, and the I had a really good score. The I goes to 8-4. Ruff the Passer goes to 9-3. So here is how it looks. Let me just check the time. All right, here's how it looks. In División del Norte, Ruff the Passer now has a 9-3 record. The I has an 8-4 record. That's a 1-game difference. Now they have the same division record, but Ruff the Passer has about 118 more points. So unless Ruff the Passer loses next week or the I gets just a bucket load of points, I would say that this one is going to go to Ruff the Passer. So I believe all the Ruff the Passer has to do is get a decent number of points and win, and he is playing You Betcha. Now, You Betcha also has a lot to play for next week as well, because he's 7-5. Going to 7-6 could potentially end up costing him a playoff spot, because right on his heels are Bretta is and Ferocious Finnick. Now, Ferocious Finnick has a lot of points, relatively speaking, so he could actually end up leaping over You Betcha if You Betcha loses and Ferocious Finnick wins, or leaping over Ghetto Superstar, depending on the points. So well, probably not leaping over Ghetto Superstar. Now, over in the other division, Jamarcus Bentley has secured the division championship and the number 2 seed at least. Could be the number 1 seed if Rough the Passer loses and he wins. The Eye has clinched his playoff spot. So that means there are 3 more up for grabs. And there are really only 1, 2, 3, 4 teams so there are 4 teams competing for 3 more spots. You Betcha, Bretta Is, the Ferocious Finnick, and Ghetto Superstar. So, and my phone is ringing. Sorry about that. So what we've got here is we've got a couple of games next week that are highly relevant. Ferocious Finnick plays Bretta Is. The loser of that, I believe, well, if Bretta Is loses, he's definitely out of the playoffs, I would say, because Ferocious Finnick's got the points advantage on him. And we've got You Betcha playing Rough the Passer in a highly relevant game. Probably won't determine the championship. Well, anyway, it's complicated. Just try to get 7 wins and a lot of points. That ought to do it. All right, guys, that's it. Talk to you next week. Bye.